Today we are going to study the factor market, and within the factors of production we are going to study what market? The labor market. It is a market of the labor services demanded and supplied. Alright? In product markets we have studied how is the product demand and product supply in the market, and that market is directly dealing with the products. Alright. Now in the labor market we are going to study how labor is demanded indirectly. Why do I say indirectly? Because labor demand is dependent upon the product demand. Clear? If products are demanded more in the market, then there will be increase in demand of the labor services to produce more output. Alright? So labor market is dependent upon the product market. If product market is growing, there is increase in demand of the products. Definitely there will be increase in demand of the workers to produce those products. Okay? So now it means that labor market is indirectly demanded, and it is also called derived demand of the labor, which is dependent upon the product demand. Now the question is, in case of product market, when we buy anything, so we actually become the owner of those products. Clear? Do we have the ownership of workers as well when we are going to ask them to work for us? This is not the case. Because human beings are not bought and sold. This is not an era of the sale and buying of the human beings. This is not an era of slavery. Rather, the producers are buying the services or the time of the workers to produce output. The workers are not going to become the slaves to the employers. Rather, they are going to sell their services, their time in order to produce the goods and services. So this is the main difference between the product market and labor market. In case of product market, when we buy those products, we become the owners. Whereas in services market, the employers cannot become the owners of the workers. Rather, they are only hiring the time or the services of the workers in order to produce the goods and services. Clear? So we are going to say in any market we have two market forces. One is called the labor demand, and what is the other labor market force? That is labor supply. Now who is demanding labor? Definitely the firms are demanding labor in order to produce the goods and services. Clear? So firms are going to demand labor. So this is basically that comes from the producer side. Now the producers are going to buy the labor services in order to produce the goods. So labor demand is originating from the producer side. And why they are demanding labor? Because their products are demanded. That's why in order to fulfill the demands of the consumers, they have to produce output, and for that reason they are demanding what? The manpower or labor to produce the goods and services. Now, who is the supplier of labor services? The households. What do you mean by households? Households is a word which is used for the consumers, the workers, the savers, the borrowers. Collectively we say the functions of household are to consume the goods, to supply their working hours in order to earn the income, and then that income is spent or saved. Clear? Like right now, if I am working over here, so I belong to the household, then I am serving to this school to earn income, and out of that income, what I will do, I will either consume it or save it. Whatever is left over after expenditures, that will be the saving. So households, they are the suppliers of labor services. Okay, they are supplying the labor services, and who is going to buy these services? The firms or the producers, or you can say the entrepreneurs, enterprises, they are going to demand the labor services. Now what types of market we have in the labor? In product market, we study two main types of markets or market structures. What are those? One is called what? Perfect competition. What it is? A perfect competition in the product market. And imperfect competition. Imperfect competition. So in perfect competition, you studied that there are many buyers and many sellers of product. Products are perfectly similar to each other, and the producer, everyone is the price taker in perfect competition. So when in the product market we find perfect competition, there are many buyers and many sellers of products. So in the labor market we will also have perfect labor competition. Labor perfect market, perfectly competitive labor market. If product market is having perfect competition, so in its labor market we will also have perfect labor market, or labor market is perfectly competitive. The thing is that here everyone is the wage taker. Like in product market, everyone was the price taker. So here every worker is, or every firm is the wage taker. They are not having ability to set the wages. Wages, I will explain to you. Wages are set by the market forces, and every firm will face that wage rate in order to hire the number of workers. It cannot set its own wages in the market. And what is the imperfect market of products, in which we studied monopoly, monopolistic competition, oligopoly. And in case of imperfect market of products, we said these firms are having price control. They are the price setters. They were facing a downward sloping market demand curve for the products. But in case of labor market, we say now the firms are the wage setters. They have imperfect competition. They are facing upward sloping labor supply curve. So they have the ability to set the wages of the workers by themselves. Clear? So in labor market, we will study the two types of market structures. How wages are determined in perfect competition in labor market, and how wages are determined in imperfect labor market. Okay. So first of all, I am going to explain you the first thing, the labor demand. How the firms in perfect competition, they will demand labor. Okay. So why firms are demanding labor? In order to produce the goods and services. It means the demand for labor is indirect or derived demand. What do you mean by derived? It depends upon the product demand. I say this is the product market, like the footballs are demanded. This is the demand of footballs. Clear? This is the demand of labor which is going to produce the football, who are hired to produce the footballs. When product market has increasing demand of footballs, what happens in the labor market? The demand for labor will also shift rightward. Clear? So that is the meaning. The demand of labor to produce football is dependent upon the demand of product, that is the football. If that is increasing, nowadays we have more demand of the products than the corona time period when there was COVID-19. Majority of the firms were closed down. They were having a shutdown because products were not too much demanded, so they laid off the workers as well. Clear? So derived means the demand for labor is dependent upon the product demand. If product demand is shifting rightward, labor demand will also shift rightward. If product demand is shifting leftward or downward, so labor will also be demanded less. Its demand will also shift leftward. This is the meaning of indirect demand of labor or derived demand of labor. Now the other thing, why the firms are hiring the workers and how much workers a firm in perfect competition will be hiring. How will you decide the number of workers hired? How will you, being the producer of footballs, how will you be able to decide how many workers are going to be employed in your firm? It depends upon marginal revenue product theory. Marginal revenue product theory. Do you remember we studied law of diminishing returns in the short run? What was that law? If anyone remembers.
When we increase the factors after a certain point, it starts to increase lesser.
Yes. When we add the variable factor of production into the fixed factor, the additional output of the additional worker will be eventually diminishing. Okay, what is meant by marginal revenue product of labor? Marginal means additional, revenue means the money brought into the firm. Okay, see, I say this is the marginal revenue product of labor. It's equal to marginal revenue product of labor, marginal physical product of labor multiplied by the marginal revenue. Now in case of perfect competition, you studied price is equal to marginal revenue. So I write over here marginal physical product of labor multiplied by the price of the product. Now listen please. If some worker has produced 200 units of output for your firm and the price of your product is, you can say, 50. Okay, how much revenue he has brought to the firm? How much? 10,000. How much revenue he is bringing to the firm? 10,000. And if we pay him wage of 2,000 rupees per day, do you think you will hire that worker or not? He is bringing 10,000 revenue, whereas you are paying only 2,000 rupees for the work he has done in one day. Clear? So when this is the revenue brought into the firm by the worker, how much output he has produced, multiplied by the price of the product, and you will see how much revenue he is able to bring to the firm. And if we pay him 2,000 rupees as a wage for that day he has produced this output, so he is quite beneficial to the firm because the cost incurred on that lower than the revenue he is bringing to the firm. So this is a marginal revenue product theory. Can I say if marginal revenue product of labor is greater than wage paid, this is what? The wage. The firm will hire the worker. And if marginal revenue product is less than the wage, like he has produced only 10 units. He has produced only 10 units and the revenue he has brought into the firm is only 500. 10 into 50. And will you be able to pay him 2000 rupees the wage? Will you hire that worker who is only producing the output worth of only 500 rupees, whereas the firm is going to pay him the wage of 2000? So that worker will not be employed by the firm. Okay? So can I write over here, if marginal revenue product of worker is below the wage, we are not going to hire that worker because he becomes costly to the firm. So how many workers a firm will hire? The condition is that marginal revenue product should equal to the wage. This is wage is representing marginal cost of labor. That every extra worker firm hires, it has to pay 2000 rupees for each day. So this is the marginal cost of labor, and we studied that when marginal revenue is equal to marginal cost, that is profit maximizing level of output. So here it will be the cost minimizing level of output when marginal revenue product is equal to the marginal cost of the worker hire. अब मैं इसको करूँगा इस न्यूमेरिक्स में, that you will be able to learn more. Should I erase it from this side?
Yes.
Okay. Now see, numerically, how can we explain the same idea? Here I am taking labor, here I am taking marginal physical product of labor, okay, and here I am taking wage. Okay, first of all, I have to take marginal physical product of labor multiplied by price, and then we find what it is, marginal revenue product of labor, and then wage, which is the marginal cost of labor. I am raising to the other side as well. It is mixing up. So wage is what? That is the marginal cost of labor. Now see, the first worker, he is producing 100 units, whereas the price of the product is 50. How much revenue he is bringing to us? 5,000. So and we are paying him wage 2,000. So here marginal revenue product of first worker is higher than the wage. The firm will hire that worker. Now come towards the second worker. He produces 80 units and the revenue he is bringing to the firm, that is 4,000, and he is also having more revenue than the wage paid. And when we hire the third worker, that is 60. So here the firm is able to earn 3,000 of revenue, which is again higher of the wage rate. Alright. So when we talk about the fourth worker, he is producing 40 units. How much revenue is bringing? How much? 2,000. So it's equal to 2,000. So this is the equilibrium of the firm. How many workers it will hire? Where the marginal revenue product of the last worker is equal to the wage. Alright. So if the firm hires a fifth worker, where he produces only 20 units, and how much revenue he is bringing? 1,000, which is less than 2,000. Do you think firm will hire this worker? No. Because the revenue brought into the firm is having lower value than the wage. This is called minor revenue product theory. Usually it comes to the exam of the A2. How firms are deciding the number of workers. Clear? Now I am going to draw the diagram. Have you noted it down?
Yes.
Note it quickly. If I draw one here, let me check. Here it is labor. Here I am taking the rupees. Is it coming to your okay? Now see, this is the wage which is equal to 2000 rupees. At this wage rate, firm is facing perfectly elastic labor supply. What does it mean? Firm is not facing the labor supply curve which is upward sloping, because firm is the wage taker. In case of upward sloping labor supply, in order to hire an extra worker, firm had to increase the wage. But here, the firm is wage taker. So we see when supply is perfectly elastic, it's equal to average cost of labor and marginal cost of labor. Alright? When extra worker is hired, how much wage firm will pay? 2000. So marginal cost of extra worker will be 2000 and average will also remain the same. This is the meaning. Now see, this is the marginal physical product. Like I have drawn this thing, the diminishing returns. This data is showing us that as extra worker is added, what is happening? The additional output of every extra worker is diminishing. That's why it is downward sloping. Now when it is multiplied by the price, it will become what? Marginal revenue product of labor, which is called demand of labor. What does it call? Demand of labor. Now see, this is the equilibrium. These are the 4 workers which are employed by the firm. Clear? Before this 4, marginal revenue was higher than the wage paid. So those workers are demanded. And after we see what is happening, wage is higher than the marginal revenue. So firm will not go beyond this level of equilibrium. So firm will hire the number of workers where the last worker's marginal revenue product is equal to the wage paid. Follow? Now how firm can increase the number of workers employed? Please listen over here. If this market price goes up, what happens? Instead of 50 price moves on 70 or 80, then marginal physical product of every worker will be multiplied by the new price. So this marginal revenue product will shift rightward. Clear? So when product market is having increase in demand, this is the product market. Here the price is 50. When demand increases, price moves to 70. So here the marginal revenue product value will also increase for every worker. So firm will demand more workers. Clear or not? So this is how the firm is deciding the number of workers employed by using this theory of marginal revenue product of labor. What else can be the reason of the labor demand? The third reason is the use of technology. The workers who are able to operate new technology, what happens? Their marginal physical product will also increase. Their productivity will increase. So when marginal physical product is going to increase, the workers who are able to operate new technology, they will be demanded more. The skilled workers, their demand will increase due to new technology, and the demand of unskilled workers who are unable to operate new technology, they will be demanded less. So technology is also playing a role in the demand of the workers who are able to operate that technology, and it will decrease the demand of those workers who are unable to operate that new technology, because by use of new technology this factor will change. And again, if this factor is changing, demand of those workers will shift rightward. And if this model productivity is decreasing, demand of labor will shift downward. Or price of the product is decreasing, demand of workers in the firm will shift downward. Alright or not? So this is how labor market is going to have the demand of labor in perfect competition. Clear? Is it enough, or should I go for the labor supply as well? Kafi?